You discover the recipe for chocolate-covered dung beetles. Travels pretty darn well. Up you go. Now that's good beetle. Your hunter-gatherer skills pale in comparison to your whiner-complainer skills. Up you go. It's the rainy season, and you've remembered to bring your umbrella. Good for you. Move ahead. You've come to that inevitable conclusion that a grizzly bear makes a lousy cave mate. Onwards and upwards. You discover just how fast you are when you outrun an avalanche. Up a stage. The angry bees in your opponent's tent. It's a nice touch. Move forward. By the way, so are the stink bugs. A huge silverback gorilla loves your rendition of Shock the Monkey. Up a stage. The stars you are navigating by turn out to be a distant Starbucks sign. Up you go, and grab me another decaf while you're at it. You trade your cooking stove to the local shaman for a surefire herbal love potion. Up you go, Cupid. A pack of hyenas are completely enthralled by your Tarzan imitation. Up a stage. You start to embrace the fact that rodent is a food group. Oh yes, up one. It's the other white meat. Not only does snacking on maggots keep you alive, you find out they're high in protein and they taste like smoked oysters. Ahead a stage. Remember this, it's mind over matter. They're only hungry if you think you are. I'm sorry I buckled. Up a stage. Swimming with the dolphins? Good. Swimming with the piranha? Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. Up a stage. When confronted by a ferocious tiger, do not show fear. Okay, show a little fear. Oh, what the heck? Just curl up into a little fetal ball and scream like a frightened schoolgirl. Whew. Up a stage. Well, let's look on the positive side. Grubs and earthworms are low carb. Up you go. Your disco moves come in handy when the tribesmen ask you to participate in the dance of the wounded giraffe. Up you go. Some locals warn you about the rapids ahead, the name of which translates as Insane Mixmaster of Death. Ahead one stage. The elephant stampede detours around your smelly socks. How resourceful. Up a stage. The hunter who set the bear trap finally returns and sets you free. Up a stage. You tell the llama to say it, not spray it. And he ups the ante by planting one right on your forehead. Up a stage. You outrun the lava flow. Good for you. One stage forward. The locals finally stop laughing and pointing at the beware of quicksand sign and help you get out. One stage forward. The camels are too dehydrated to spit at you anymore. Up a stage. The cougar doesn't want you bad enough to go into the poison ivy. But I wouldn't want to be you for the next 2 weeks. Up you go, Scratchy. You learned that maybe you can digest sautéed reindeer intestines after all. Go ahead one stage. You find a live dodo bird, much to everyone's amazement, and you mispronounce it doo-doo, much to everyone's entertainment. Up a stage. You paint a seal on the underside of your opponent's surfboard. You joker. Up a stage. You serve your opponent's lizard guano with their tortilla chips and tell them it's mashed avocado. You're starting to figure this game out, aren't you? Up you go. Oh, that old fire ants in your opponent's sleeping bag trick. Always a crowd pleaser. Way to go. Up a stage. Congratulations, you were smart enough to buy an official Lance Roberts survival vest and not a cheap imitation. Does this make my butt look big? Up a stage. The hungry, restless lions are soothed by your stirring rendition of Hakuna Matata. Up a stage, Papa Mamo. The Borneo headhunters take a shine to your melon. Get back. You're in the desert and it's 120 degrees and you forgot the sunblock. Back you go, lobster boy. You find out the difference between a dormant and an active volcano, and it ruins your barbecue. Back you go. You remember your hairnet, but you forget the mosquito net. Back a stage. Oh, what's the big deal? I've done that. Your attempt to make fire by rubbing together 2 sticks of dynamite is a complete bust. Back a stage. You get between a mother bear and her cubs, earning you the nickname Claude. Get back now. You tried to use reason on a charging rhino. Not a good idea. Back. You leave the back door of the igloo open and turn your home into a liquid asset. Back a stage. You use all the tent pegs and the toilet paper to start a fire. Good for you, but back you go. The only thing you managed to capture with your homemade trap is your foot. Get back, Jack. You eat your 3 weeks of rations on the first day. Not a good idea. Back you go. The biggest fear turns out not to be fear itself, but rather the blood-sucking leech in your underwear. Back. Unlike your poodle back home, wild dingoes don't like to have their tummies rubbed. Back a spot, although they will from time to time play fetch the Range Rover. The Maasai warriors were kidding when they told you that circling vultures are a good luck omen. Back you go. Your cell phone doesn't work in the rainforest. Neither does your electric foot massager. Back you go. It's survival of the fittest, not survival of the fattest. Now put down that eclair and gather some firewood. Back one. A survival kit should carry a compass and matches, not necessarily makeup and a hairbrush. Get back. You discover Black Widow spiders make spectacularly bad pets. Back a stage. So does a William Morris agent. Building your shelter on the beach at low tide wasn't the smartest thing to do now, was it? Back. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. And they were both in your tent this morning. Back you go. You get too ambitious when you try to add a second story to your lean-to. Back a stage. Your bargain basement GPS unit tells you that you're in Cleveland. Well, you're not. It was made in Cleveland. Back you go. A flock of screaming cowbirds decide to nest in your dew. Back. Those aren't freckles on your leg, men. They're parasitic ticks. Take a bath. Back you go. In the Amazon rainforest, there are said to be over 3.5 million ants per acre. And you decide to have a picnic. Back a stage. Sticking your tongue out is not an effective way to get rid of a hyena feasting on your sleeping bag. Back a stage. Although I'm told that the Brady Bunch theme is very effective. The elephant is the world's largest land animal. And no, it's not getting out of the way for your morning jog. Back you go. There's no such thing as pink elephants. Better check that bark you had for supper last night for an expiration date. Back a stage. Your rain dance results in a flash flood that washes away your campsite. Back a stage, man. Back a stage. I know you're proud of your pedicure, but I wouldn't go barefoot in the jungle. Back you go. That tree you were cutting down for firewood. It just fell on your lean-to. Back you go. Trying to steal a wolverine's brunch proves out to be one of the worst ideas ever. Back you go. Joining in on a head-butting contest with a bighorn ram leaves you with a headache and screaming, "Oh, mommy, make it stop." Back a stage. A black rhino decides that your black SUV is a territorial rival. Back you go. A spider monkey steals the only set of keys to your Land Rover. Back. But you have to admire his taste. When you fire up the Coleman, you melt the igloo. Back a stage. Mama Condor just found out that you stole her eggs for your breakfast omelet. Back you go. A woodpecker mistakes your noggin for a dead tree trunk. Again. Back a stage. A barracuda has taken a liking to your shiny toe ring. Back you go and count your toes. While investigating Nile crocodiles, you discover the sides of your dugout canoe are just a bit too low. Back a stage. No one likes being called a pig, not even a wild boar. Back a stage. Hey, Dr. Doolittle, that alligator you're talking to, it's a log. Back you go. I know the Greek name for hippo means water horse, but take it from me, they don't like to be ridden. Back a stage. Wow, whoever thought that people could be so touchy about one little golden statue? But give it back, Lightfingers, and back a stage. The hunter who set the bear trap finally returns and sets you free. Up a stage. King Kong he's not, but nonetheless that's one big monkey. Back a stage. No, faster now. Oh, I look ridiculous. Back you go.